Hey cupcakes, Lisa here, and this is going to have to be a very quick video because, well, my hair's wet. That's because I'm on my way to work. Gotta get to work, guys. Haven't even made my coffee yet. But I really, I wanted to zip out this video because I had an experience yesterday at the hospital that was really interesting. Parts of it were really beautiful. And it really helped me crystallize. I woke up this morning with a very clear sense of what I wanted to say to you guys. It helped me crystallize some thoughts about one of those golden rules of learning to speak tarot that I've mentioned before, the idea of only connect. And I'm going to put a link below to the Only Connect video. I have so many things to share with you guys. It's been a hugely busy, I think I always say that. That may be my default mode. A hugely busy few weeks. Finishing up the page proofs for my book. Lots of stuff at my Buddhist temple. I've just entered a new kind of training recognition program. Got some new robes. Nothing like Zen Buddhist accessories. So just sort of my status has shifted a little bit, more responsibilities at the temple, which is beautiful and deep. And but, you know, I just wanted to shout out, Kasha, if you see this video, I've been adoring what you've been putting out, your content, and I just haven't had a chance to really comment on it. Nat, thank you, sister, for all of your gorgeous work on the Tarot Pulse and all of your great videos. Simon, you know, as always, I'm so grateful to you. There's so many folks who are putting out amazing content right now. I have been putting out amazing content, and I just really want to be able to dive into the community to the extent that my heart wishes and that this beautiful content deserves. So, as always, thank you all so much for your practice, and yeah, and more to come today. Oh, and I have some great unboxings. January and February were a kind of very restorative tarot purchasing month for me after the holidays, sort of treating myself. And I have all of these things that are coming because they're international mail. And anyway, so more to come. Now, what I wanted to share. So yesterday at the hospital, I was having a hard day. So I'm a medical chaplain now. Have been for about a full-time chaplain for about almost 7 months, and I was having a hard day. I was just tired. And the energy that I needed to be able to bring myself to patients and their families, and also just to be really present for the staff, I just was drained. And as sometimes happens, I will, because, you know, spiritual practice is at the heart of my professional identity. So as sometimes happens, I will, you know, take some time to sit meditation, not take too much time away from the floors, but if I need it, kind of reground and recenter. And I'll even pull some cards. And I know that, I mean, what I'm saying is not unusual for most of you watching to, you know, have a deck with you in your handbag and pull it out at work. But for me, it's kind of this, I'm in this new place where it's actually part of my job. Imagine that. I get paid to take care of my spiritual core so I can bring that to others. Moment of gratitude. How did this happen in my life? Anyway, I digress. So I pulled this card. And this particular card, because I have I just recently acquired another vintage, 1980s vintage Rider Waite. It's a little bit damaged. The white book is a little bit damaged. You can see this stain on the corner of the white book, but this looks to be early mid 1980s deck. It has the copyright, but it's got great cardstock, and other than a few cards that have that whatever it is, coffee stain on the corner, it's in beautiful shape. So I pulled this Nine of Wands. Yeah. I was asking, what do I need to know? You know, sort of a standard, one of my standard go-to intentions to bring, very, very in sync with Mindful Tarot. I'm not looking for answers. I'm not looking for predictions. I'm trying to better understand, like, what is this moment right now? What is this body, heart, and mind experiencing? How do I need to align myself so I can be more present? And I pulled this card, Nine of Wands. I was like, yep. The vigor, the vigilance, I'm still standing. It's the end of a day and I'm tired and I just need to really stand there in front of the balustrade, just really, really be the protector, really be the bodhisattva. Yep. Keep standing. So I understood the card as kind of confirming my sense of battle weariness and also the need to keep standing. And my pager went off. It was my shift ends at 4:30. It was like 4:07, and it was a patient on one of my floors who had been on my radar. And I thought, okay, yeah, Nine of Wands. Head to this guy's room, and I knew that he was someone who had some dementia, and I knew that he was someone who was suffering some, was having anxiety. His wife had died. I didn't know when his wife had died. It turned out, I think she died in 2012. So not recently, but an elderly gentleman with some dementia. I knew his wife had in fact died in this hospital. And as he recalled, that she had died in the room next to the room he was now in. So he had been on my radar. I just had not gotten to see him earlier that day. And now I get a pager that, in fact, his nurse thought he needed to see someone from spiritual care. So, I know I didn't have a lot of time left in my shift, but I think, okay, go see this man. This is, Nine of Wands. You're still standing. And I go to the room, and initially he doesn't seem at all upset, and then the stories start coming, and because he's working with some dementia, the stories have a kind of circular quality, like a song that begins and moves and then ends and begin, it's just the stories are going to keep going in the same circle. These are not new stories. This is not new grief. This is grief that this man is kind of stuck in, and showing up for that and witnessing that and being heart open, heart ready for that is my job. And also, there's not nothing's going to change. I'm not going to fix anything. I can show up and be present. And then his stories shift, and he starts talking about Vietnam. And then I realized, like, there's a whole nother level to the Nine of Wands, which is his story and what he experienced in Vietnam and the sort of ways in which he stood firm. And also he shares some stuff with me that make me, not as sympathetic to him. I mean, we all have stories, and sometimes the people we are is not necessarily, go figure, perfect. And, showing up for all of that. And I'm realizing as I'm talking to him that I am just exhausted, that my ability to be fully present is compromised because I'm exhausted, which is why I drew the cards in the beginning of the day, and not in the beginning of the day, in the middle of my shift anyway, because I was exhausted and looking for some sense of how to move forward. Anyway, at a certain point, it's like now an hour in. It's like, maybe not an hour, maybe more like 45 minutes. Still, I was present. The stories were going to keep going. There's not going to be a place where we went somewhere together. I could be on the journey with him, but just barely. His mind was in its groove, and that's okay. But I needed to go. And so at a certain point I took his hand and said, okay, it's been a pleasure, and I'll come back tomorrow. And then the story started again. It's like, okay, I removed my hand, and then at a certain point I give him my hand again. And finally I left. The thing is, when I pulled this card, what is being said to me? What's being said to me is, this is what's showing up at this moment. This might be encouragement of the energy that I need to keep manifesting. It might also be showing me the energy that's here. And so the idea only connect, is an idea of really allowing the card to help you investigate not only this moment. It's not only like, here's the answer, use your decoder ring, now go forward. It's, here's your mirror. This is what the universe is right now for this body, heart, and mind. Now what do you want to do? In retrospect, this figure was this man who just keeps moving forward, who was himself a soldier, who had some very intense moments in Vietnam. This card is also me in very habitual, vigilant energy that I should be curious about. This card is what I was manifesting yesterday, just keep moving forward. And this card is also encouragement to, in my curiosity about who I am showing up as, to gently wonder if there's self-care in that. Sometimes the soldier needs to let down the staff and go home and watch some Netflix and eat some bonbons and take a nap. So only connect. Keep reading these cards. Keep reading these cards in the context of this moment, in the fullness of this moment, and let the moment instruct you about the card. And instruct you about the card because it's instructing you about your own tender heart. Okay, the sun has been rising, the light is bursting into the room, and another day begins. Thank you all so much for your practice. Much love to you.